Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and Dota players around the world. We're back for some Dota 2 action here for the WRG Gaming Masters League Leg 1. It's going to be WRG versus Villianz. I am Jabba, joined by Tyrox this evening, and we are glad to see the boys from WRG and Villianz go head-to-head up in tonight's game. It is going to be a very interesting one.
Oh, I actually have to agree with that. WRG, I actually haven't been able to catch any of the games lately, which is a sad one because such a high-skilled, such a high-tier team. And Villianz, honestly, is the first time I've heard, but I do know of Terabyte, I do know of 1337 and Alvin. So these guys not new to the scene, but the team fairly is, unless I'm mistaken. But I mean, I'm excited, dude. I'm very excited for this game.
I'm not just this game, but the entire league. I mean, there are so many unknown names in the Masters at the moment, and some of your big tier teams that are actually not even in the Masters. So it's a really interesting league per se. This season is going to be very interesting. But enough of that. Let's jump into this game. The bans have come out thick and fast. Tiny, Lycan, and the Nugger being banned out for WRG. On the other side of the coin, we've got Villianz banned out, the Dark Willow, Omni-Knight, and the Doombringer. And WRG, first pick, take the chin.
Wow. I mean, if that's not a if that's not a micromanaged hero, then I don't know what is. A very nice hero. I mean, I don't often enough see Chen. I mean, we always all know about the Pudge Chen combo that Nave pulled out in the old TI days, and Villianz follow up with an Enchantress Brewmaster pickup. I really like how the Brewmaster has been brought back into the meta, and Enchantress has always been, I don't know, everyone fears Enchantress and dislikes at the same time, but she's not very difficult to lock down. So I think it's just the survivability, the somewhat survivability Enchantress has to offer. But I really like this Brewmaster pick. It's going to throw a bit of a span into White Rabbit's idea, because you first need to bring down Brewmaster and stop him before he even gets his Primal Split. And once Primal Splits are gone, then most of your team already dead. It's a very nice hero. Very nice hero. Played well can mean a very big turnaround for the enemy.
Well, the Enchantress, I'm guessing it's been a little bit of a counter towards Chen. As soon as Chen takes over a creep, Enchantress says, I think I want that creep that you actually found for me. The Brew needs, you've covered it pretty much in detail. I find he needs a very little amount of farm to actually be effective in team fights. So as an offlaner, he does really well. Some more bans have come out for the teams though. Jugger being banned out, the Gyro and the Razor. These are some common bans that I've been noticing of late.
Oh, I mean, definitely the Razor. I'm just looking at it, just the basic, just the hero themselves. I'm not looking at the synergy within the teams, but Razor always a very strong, big team fight. He's very tanky and he's very fast as well. Gyrocopter as well, nice team fight centered hero. Juggernaut as well. He likes to get in there with his Omni Slash, getting between heroes. Preferably catch a hero off when it's up in the early levels. But as we said, Brewmaster doesn't need a Manta style. He doesn't need a Yasha. All he needs is his level 6 in the BKB, and he's good to go. So PL also being banned out from White Rabbit Gaming. I like the PL ban. I mean, there's a lot of spammability and a lot of just control that he provides when he does get that diffusal blade. He can just slow down the enemies and just besides take their mana away, bring them down to a halt. And Witch Doctor, nice pickup from Villianz. I really like the Witch Doctor pickup. I think it might just help a little bit towards the counter to Crystal Maiden's ulti. I mean, you don't really want to sit and fight. It's one of those ultis you can't sit and fight under. And nice pickup from Pugna, or from White Arrow Gaming with the Pugna.
Well, that Nether Ward is going to be a absolute terror for the Impetuous Arrow from the Enchantress, the Voodoo Restoration from the Witch Doctor. So Pugna is going to just drop that ward and let it go to work. Villianz pick up their puck. Now, we haven't discussed lanes, we haven't discussed anything like that. So for the side of Villianz, they've got 4 heroes already selected. My assumption is puck mid lane. It's going to be Panda in the off lane, with the Enchantress maybe doing a little bit of roaming, picking up maybe one of those creeps that's got the net. I don't even know what you call those netty creeps. I mean, can I just rename it the netty creep? I'm going to dub it the
Let's
Netty
call it
Creep.
the netty creep.
The Netty Creep. So she's going to
There we
go
go.
grab a Netty Creep. She's going to do a little bit of roaming. And I think that's the way that the lineup's going to go. Obviously, which starts in the safe lane for Villianz yet to pick up their core. WRG on the other side picked up Lifestealer. Going to probably be their core. We've got Pugna. Offlane Pugna. I mean, I feel this is where Pugnas have been played of late.
Well, it could also possibly be a mid lane Pugna. I mean, doesn't struggle too much with CS. Last hitting isn't an issue for Pugna. He's got that nether blast, so I don't know. It is interesting to see where they're going to be playing him. He's very effective in the mid lane and off lane, as you said. He's also been played in multiple roles as of late, so it's very hard to just set him into a
Like peg
specific role.
him in a peg him
Yeah,
in
you
a
can't really
specific
peg him
zone.
into a place. He can be a very good support. He can be an excellent carry. He's one of those heroes that you can't peg him down as a specific role.
All right, well, we're going to wait and see. Chen probably going to be in the jungle, also trying to do the same effect of what the Enchantress is going to do. Crystal Maiden is going to be the backup or the Robin to the Lifestealer, and going to get themselves a nice little safe lane there. So let's look at it. I mean, Crystal Maiden, Lifestealer up against the Brewmaster. He's got the Drunken Haze to maybe be a little bit of a nuisance towards Lifestealer, but he does have the Rage to obviously debuff that when that situation does come for him to actually start right-clicking down the Panda. Otherwise, other than that, I mean, how high do you think the lanes are going to phase or materialize?
Well, I mean, I really like the fact that there's a sneaky little creep that can be stolen from Chen, which Lifestealer can infest. I really like the cheekiness of it. It could possibly be one of those out of the box plays that could turn into White Rabbit Gaming's favor. I do like the Lifestealer though. He's proven as of late to be quite tanky, and he really likes to tear apart the lower HP heroes. So Puck, unless Puck gets out of dodge, is going to have a tough time surviving. Enchantress is the same. Like I said, Enchantress doesn't have a huge life, doesn't have a huge HP pool, but does have those sprites that can bring our HP back up, and you can sustain the damage against the sprites. You can overwhelm it, you'll kill it. It's just one of those things. Brewmaster, however, like I said, is the kink in the armor for White Rabbit Gaming. He's going to be the tanky one. Witch Doctor is just going to be sitting in the back line with a Death Ward, and hopefully Pugna is able to get a nice little Nether Ward down in a place that isn't easily accessible, because it can really quickly turn the fight with the amount of just abilities that need to be used from the side of Villianz.
Wham, bam, thank you, Death Prophet, ma'am, has just rocked up to the party. And that's probably going to wrap it out for the side of WRG. Death Prophet going to be in the mid lane. Okay, it's still a question here because I do see sometimes Death Prophet being played in the off lane. So, which is the castaway hero? I'm feeling it's more Death Prophet.
Yeah.
So, Pugna in the off lane, it looks like that is going to be the draft for WRG. Jumping onto Villianz, waiting. They've got 2 minutes to select their fifth and final call for their team. Something I do want to ask. Intouchable on the Enchantress. Lifestealer's Rage. It doesn't get affected. He can just right click away.
Yes, actually.
That is a good question, I feel. I think that's a
question.
jabber question. That's like
That
top
is a
tier.
jabber question.
That is a top tier question, and I need a top tier answer. My feel is that he's just going to bang through it, and the Intouchables are not going to phase the Lifestealer at all.
I need to see. I just need to brush up on the. I think it would be interesting to see whether or not it actually plays effect. But I do know for a fact that Lifestealer has very little. There's very little to slow him down in terms of when he does get involved in the fight itself. And Weaver is the final pickup of Villianz. I really like this pickup.
Ooh.
I mean,
Okay, so
escapability.
So he's going to be forced to get a Lincoln. So that's really good against the Decrypt as well as the Frostbite from both Whelp and Switch. The only thing is, if Castaway gets the silence off onto Weaver, Lead's going nowhere.
Yeah, he's very quickly locked down. So I mean, but in terms of other than just the silence from Castaway, Switch has got the that holds him in ice, and that's about it. There's no one else that can really stun him unless Lifestealer gets himself a basher.
Well, that does wrap up the draft for the meantime. We're going to be jumping into the game. I do know that the players have actually requested out a pause in the beginning part of the game, which is absolutely perfect because that gives us a chance to actually go through the players and all the cool stuff that we need to. So, without further ado, for those of you that are just joining us, this is going to be the VS Gaming Masters League Leg 1, WRG versus Villianz. On the side of the Radiant will be White Rabbit Gaming. On the way in the bot lane, Lifestealer being played by Transcendent or Odu, better known as, followed up by his support Switch. If I do recall, that is actually Alvain, our MGO for WRG. So it's nice to see him getting his fingers a little bit dirty in the mid, or Whelp sitting on the Pugna sitting on the high ground here. Chen going to be played out by Chadawi or Dowie. He's not. They're just guarding out the bounty ruins, and last but not least, it's going to be Castaway on the Death Prophet.
Well, and actually on this side of the dire, Villianz 1337 actually on the Weaver does get spotted out by Dowie, so he's not really. Maybe they can try and contest for that. We've got Captain Beast 101 on that on the Witch Doctor. We have Demonic Lord on the pack in the middle and waiting to just hold those creeps back. We've got Terabyte 2.0 on the Brewmaster, just taking that bottom rune. We've got Alvin on the Enchantress, and that wraps up the side of Villianz.
Alright, well, let's keep an eye on the bounty ruins, as it looks like they're going to try and get 3 here for WRG. And yes, it is an easy 3. Panda Terabyte is the only one that picked up a bounty for his team. So the Enchantress is making her way around the enemy jungle here. Does drop a nice deep ward here, making sure that they can spot out any rotations. And the mid lane. So to our surprise, it is going to be a Whelp mid on the Pugna versus the Puck. This took me by surprise.
I mean, I did so I did call it a little bit earlier, and I mean, it's not a bad idea. Like I said, he doesn't struggle too much with last hits, and he can just get what he can get his with Cryptify. He can get Nether Blast. Like I said, is good for last hits, good for creep clearing. I think maybe Puck would. I think Demonic Lord might have a little bit of a tough time with the Nether Blast. Like I said, coming out with a starting of 100 damage every time it lands. I think that could be the only thing. He just needs to keep his regen up and keep those tangos flowing. Otherwise, he can very easily just make a wrong move, and a Nether Ward which should unfortunately be the death of him because he has to use Illusory Orb to get out.
Yeah, well, looking in the top lane now. Okay, so the game's paused out. It's going to look like it's going to be dual lanes for the moment. Let's just get all the nitty-gritty out the way, because there's a big question that I want to ask you. And there's a couple of players that have been asking me this question, and I don't actually know how to respond to them. So maybe you can shed some light on the situation. Is how do you beat WRG?
How would you beat WRG?
How do you beat WRG? Do you win it in the draft? Do you win it in the laning phase? Do you win it in the late game? Or what advice would you give teams or players to reach the kind of caliber and tier that WRG has? I mean, they're on their way to China pretty soon to represent their team and South Africa in the big esports around the world. How do you go about it? How do you tell people this is how you beat WRG? This is how you get to the kind of caliber of players that we see here?
Yeah, I think it's more of a. Like I honestly think that that's the $1,000,000 question that anyone watching wants to know. But I think it's more just reactive plays, and all the players on the side of WRG are so vetted in their craft, in their lanes, in their meta, that it all is going to come down to counter plays and to just reactive gaming, because you can't outplay Chadawi, you can't outplay Castaway unless you put the exact same amount of time and you have the exact same skill. You 100% won't be able to outplay him. He's one of the best in South Africa, if not the best. And that's not to put flags where they shouldn't be, but the only way you're going to be able to beat them is to reactively and actively try and pressure them into situations they don't normally have to take. So push Castaway out of his lane safely, harass him too much, or don't harass him at all. It really is, like I said, it's reactive. If he's going for harass, maybe you should counter harass, or maybe you shouldn't harass at all. It's all comes down to counter plays, and I honestly think that this entire side of WRG has had almost every situation thrown at them, but there is always something that can change. There is always a draft that can go wrong, and you could have the perfect draft, but your laning phase is horrible, which throws it into the mid to late game, then you have to play catch up most of the time. And I mean, you both have seen WRG pull back some amazing wins from very, very dark places. So I really don't think that there is a winning strategy to beat WRG.
Well, I mean, you know, people that are listening, people that are thinking is like, well, do we take it to the late game? Do we all just go carry? Do we all just try and go support, push down mid lane? I mean, these are strategies that you'd want to try and see being played out. And I mean, WRG, they got to the best spot, and they got to the top spot, and they haven't let it go. They haven't relinquished their throne. So from 2017, our reigning champs of the VS Gaming Masters League have, in fact, brought it back and are looking like the favorites once again to be in that top seeded position. But with the rest of the league developing, like I said, a lot of new names being pulled together. I actually haven't gone through a lot of the players to actually see which players actually left certain squads, that moved in, moved out, and if there's been swap arounds or substitutions and things like that. But we are going to be here trying to bring you the action live. Tonight's game, super exciting. WRG versus Villianz. The game is underway, and we're going to see how things do pan out here. If Villianz can go toe-to-toe against this mighty team.
Well, you actually were right. They did actually put Death Prophet in the off lane. I mean, Castaway, he's not going to have too much of a tough time against Weaver. I mean, he can just crypt swarm when he needs to put the pressure on, and I don't think that the Sakuchi doesn't dispel any, so he's still going to get hit by it. If he's in the way, he's going to get hit, unless he does a quick dodgeroo. And Alvin, sneaky little rotate in here, but Shadawi does have his creeps working for his side, and ooh, here's a bit of an harassment in the top lane, and wow,
well,
that's putting a span in the work. That's one way to disrupt him.
Well, we're waiting for the tomato smash. Oh, there it comes. He's going to actually try and take it out. Oh, but Shadawi, he takes over to the tomato. Alvin could be in a little bit of trouble here now. The tomato chasing him down, cancels out the salve, and job complete for Dawi. He's pretty happy with that. A little bit of a rotation coming in here from Witch Doctor. When I mean rotation, he's just doing a little bit of a wraparound, trying to see if he can actually catch Castaway. He's in a little bit of a awkward situation, but Castaway, no, he's going to throw the punches out. Tango's up, going to right click down the wedge. Maledict, and I think that is good enough to just push Castaway a little bit back. Oh no, he doesn't. Mistake and Siphon being used out. Maledict still ticking away. It is only level 1 still at the moment, so not going to do a huge amount of damage just yet.
I mean, having a look at this, the last hits, WRG are comfortably leading it. You know, we do have Transcended on the bottom lane. Actually, it's not even being babysit so much. Switch just went and stole the bottom lane rune on Villianz side, and there was no harass. There was no. They have the vision, so they know that it was happening. They just.
Shadawi though, top jungle in a little bit of trouble. Maledict is there. First blood going to Captain Beast on the Witch Doctor. The Maledict ticking over, and first blood given to Villianz. It did take 3 of them to bring him down. It was just the Chen, but still, nonetheless, they're on the board, and WRG a little bit on the back foot. Or is this just their plan? We call it the Europadote. The Europadote. Okay, guys, we got first blood. Villianz is looking good. They get overconfident, and then WRG says, "Okay, hang on, boys. We let this happen."
I mean, if you, I don't actually have the to the point stats, but I really don't see that first blood being the dictator of how the game goes. Maybe in terms of pace, but ooh, Castaway. There might be in a spot of trouble here. No.
I'm just watching Alvin and Dawi go fight their creeps. I mean, this is it. It's like creep versus creep, yeah.
Creep stealing. A ruthless game from here on.
This is gonna be Right, like finders keepers, losers weepers. Do you ever remember that saying when you used to find something on the floor? Yeah, it feels like it's that's happening right now.
It's going to be stealing back and forth. I think the only one of the few things that would really make a difference right now. I mean, that's new. I just love how these guys are just taking the fight and being aggressive from both teams, not just one team putting it aside and just trying to retaliate somewhat. It's just creep stealing from creep stealing. You have a creep, I like it, I take it. You have a creep, you like it, you take it. It's all fair in love and war.
I must say something that you did mention made me think of something is that you'd expect like Villianz to maybe be a little bit intimidated about WRG, and the way they're playing. The way they're playing is not showing that, but Chadawi does pick up the kill on the witch. Like to pick up the kill on Leet, and 1337 does get out of there. Alvin also very low HP. Castaway, he does have enough for a Crypt Swarm. 12 charges in one. Here comes Captain Beast, drops down the Maledict. Couple of right clicks. Is it going to be enough to actually bring down Castaway? 1337 has actually solved up. Pops the one charges. Castaway, is he going to go down? Very low HP, but then all of a sudden the Tomato has been reclaimed and been sent back to base by Chadawi, and now, unfortunately, Villianz missing the opportunity to bring down the DP.
I mean, very well rotated, but I think Castaway just understood his limits and knew what needed to be done. And he did it so comfortably. It was really, well, it didn't look like he was phased at all. I mean, we know we're talking about Villianz not worrying, but ooh, now he's might be in a spot of trouble, a little bit of harass. He does have that level 1 Maledict on him, and he does go down. Very nicely done. It did take 3 again to take him out, but I mean, I think.
I was actually watching the mid lane. Walp did actually reach his level 6, deciding to try and get a life drain off onto the pack, not doing enough to actually bring him down. So now we're going to see a little bit more action probably in the mid lane. They've both look like they're going for the Veil build. Demonic Lord got to Nell's Talisman, and Silence coming out into Walp. Throws down the Decryptify and the life drain, but the rotations are coming in here from Villianz. Walp in a spot of trouble here. He's going to go down. There's 3 of them, and he does bite the dust. And the rotations coming out from Villianz doing really well, really putting a lot of pressure on WRG. Took it down their off laner, Castaway, took down their mid laner, and the next big thing would be to start punishing the lifestealer.
I just feel that the lifestealer is just not contested at this point in time. 6 minutes in, he's leading the CS chart by a comfortable pace. He's really got his phase boots, and he's really also got 1,000 in the bag. I really think that this needs to be the next priority, because you can stop a. Oh, actually, as I say, Terabyte in a spot of trouble.
He's not level 6 just yet. He's been chased down. The TP's come in, and Captain Beast being able to just stop the onslaught. Salves up, and Terabyte pretty safe at the moment. Ping's coming in the top lane. Dowie got his Sato creep there. 1337 had to back off, but here comes the rotations. Alvin, can he get the rotations? They throw out the swarm. Gets the Gucci off. He's gonna try and do a little bit of damage here. Chadawi on 1337, and a pause has come in from WRG. It's going to give us a chance just to go through what is actually happening at the moment. WRG 1, Villianz 3. 7 minutes into the game, 1k net worth advantage to WRG. Now, Villianz may have more kills, but the net worth is sitting in favor of WRG at the moment. So, like, look, it's very early to say in this point of the game. We're basically in 7 minutes, and we're there and there. I mean, it's starting to develop. This is the prologue of a good book that you're about to read. It's setting the scene.
And that's exactly what they call the laning phase. And I actually just wanted to point out how well the bait was from Demonic Lord in the mid lane, baiting out Pugna to get his life drain and use it to Decryptify, and it really worked out well. The timing on it was top tier, I need to say, and well played from them. But I mean, like you're saying, this is the game is dictated. I'd say a large majority, or almost all of it, is dictated by how the laning phase goes. When you see teams taking a 5-1 advantage, 3-1 advantage, it does lead them to an easier phase or movement out of the early game, but it's not a really doesn't really dictate that much. I mean, looking at the net worth, it doesn't really show the same. Ooh.
Well, here we go. They've brought the ghosts out. Castaway pops out, X's them, trying to find a kill, trying to chase them down, but Villianz, they just get themselves out of there. And they're going to bail, although the TP tries to come in here. And good old Witch Doctor managing to keep himself alive. In the meantime, Walp does pick up the kill on Alvain here in the back of the back lines. The Witch Doctor made it out. And now Walp coming to put a bit of pressure in this top tier 1 bot lane, though. Oh no, where was it? Destroyed the Crystal Maiden. Yeah, it was in the bot lane. Actually ulted up for it. And managed to take down Switch. Tier 1 objective done. WRG looking pretty happy. They, I'd say they may be creating a little bit of space, keeping the Panda out of the battle, making sure that the CM stays bot, protects the lifestealer, gives the gap to the rest of the players of WRG to start taking objectives.
I mean, Terabyte had to commit. He had to commit Primal Split, which is not a. It's more over a 2-minute cooldown, and I mean, even though he did get the kill on Switch, Transcendent still doesn't seem phased at all. He doesn't seem worried. They actually have very little vision on the bottom lane besides a couple of sentries here and there. Other than that, they haven't committed any of their vision to try and just prevent a counter rotation against Transcendent. So they know that he's not really going to be contested too much. Unfortunately, Terabyte did get himself a kill, but he's sitting so low in the CS chart. He does have CS. Let's put it this way. He does have some creep score, but it's pale in comparison to what Transcendent has.
All right, I'm going to interrupt you for a very good question. Transcendent, Odu, our lifestealer. He's building into Radiance at the moment. Question: when he invests into a creep, does that Radiance still work?
Yes.
OMG. That is going to be super interesting. Going to be keeping himself warm in order to dive his creeps. And he's just going to be running around them, taking extra damage because of the Radiance. And then only when stuff goes down, he's going to be able to uninfest and start right-clicking away. This is good. Almost seems like it's a little bit of a cheeky maneuver.
I can understand when you say it's a bit of a cheeky maneuver, but it also does give up the buff up that you're burning under Radiance. So it's not like it's an invisible Radiance. You still know that you're burning under Radiance. So it does kind of give away the fact that he's there. But it is, like you said, still a cheeky, you can infest, uninfest. You can infest and hide away. I mean, there's a lot that can happen, and there's a lot of space it creates, and as well as the top lane.
Oh, yeah, top lanes, there's an absolute debauchery going on. Yeah. Oh, but the skills coming out from Jirao, it sends the Death Prophet home. Castaway not going down. Unbelievable play. They only lose the CM. That, I actually cannot believe he got away with that. Did you see what had happened?
Unbelievable timing. Jirao did awesome work to save his teammate there. He definitely owes him a beer, and they take Captain Beast as a result. She had the exorcism up. She had to make use of it. She landed back in base safely and TP'd straight out to the lane again. And now they have to commit to rotation. Ooh, Alvin might have been. Yeah. Wow. Oh
wow! He does get the Decryptify. Steals a creep. There's the Netty. The Netty creep is there. Can he throw it out? He does. There's the Decryptify. Alvin in a big load of trouble. Drops the Nether Blast, and good night. Sweetheart, it feels like it should break out into melody here.
Well, it definitely can be well. That Decryptify just adds so much extra damage. It's actually unbelievable. And cheeky stealing some HP from the. Is that from? Yeah, that's been taken. The siege keep that's been stolen by
Darwin. This is actually this is like meme Dota. I mean, we've got a lifestealer building Radiance. We've got Chadawi that it's constantly stealing Alvin's creeps. He doesn't have to even go to the jungle because Alvin just keeps on bringing him all the good stuff. It's like, okay, Alvin, where are you? I'm waiting for you. Where's my next set of creeps?
Bottom lane, Transcendent actually might be able to. No, he's not going to actually get the kill.
Oh, coil being used. Oh, Infest comes out, Puck in a little bit of trouble. Pops the silence. The Waning Rift gets it off. Now Transcendent going toe-to-toe against the. Oh, the Panda. Drunken Haze is on cooldown, doesn't have it. And, yeah, Mr. Panda is going to be able to get away. But they do lose the pack, 2v1. I mean, it feels like you almost like a Chuck Norris here. Oh, the Decryptify out onto Captain Beast and Crypt Swarm. Gonna be sending good old Captain Beast to his grave.
He's sending Captain Beast back into the respawn, and
Or the Decryptify again onto Alvain. Is it going to be enough? Oh, but the send back. Oh, to die says. Listen, you're getting too deep, but you're getting too deep. Time to send you home.
We have the chin. Like we actually didn't touch on the fact that he was able to send his teammates back, and it also does take quite a lot of skill just to get that timing right, so that you don't get stunned up or nothing happens in the interim where it can be countered. And I do think that a sheep stick on Puck is a good idea, but Val Discord is the first priority. Is the exorcism being used with Ace 3?
Oh, this is problems here for Odu. He's going to get called up. He does rage out, but it's not going to be enough. Gets right click down. 4-man rotation to the bot lane. Exorcism still flying out. I mean, are those even ghosts or are they like pigeons?
They actually, I will tell you in a second, butterflies.
Butterflies. Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. Well, in the bot lane, they may be able to take themselves a tier 1 tower here, the second tier 1 for the side of Villianz. And WRG may not even look like they want to contest, making their way to the top lane. Demonic Lord, the only one here, trying to see if they can do something. Silence out onto the Puck. Demonic Lord isn't going to be able to do enough. There comes the orb. Does actually phase shift out, and he's just going to orb himself out of there. They've taken themselves a tier 2 top for WRG, while Villianz still working on the tier 1 bot. And WRG is not even concerned. I mean, we've got 2 junglers. We've got the rest of the team sitting up in the top lane.
Radiance is up and active on Transcended. He's got his Radiance now. That does not only give him the 7% chance to miss, regardless of dodge. It does also give him that burn, which is going to be so nice and useful when he is infested in a creep. And even when he is there, like we stated, he can still burn you. And that's just going to be in that interim of waiting for him to get out of his infest or to destroy the creep. You're slowly and surely going to be losing some HP while that happens. So I really like the pickup. It is a bit of a ballsy pickup, and he did get it up very quickly. I mean, we're only 15 minutes in, and he has had himself a very good game so far. So very nice, very good foresight to know that it'll be a good effective item. But guys, I mean, there is a bit of a convergence here in the bottom lane. I think we might just see a bit of engagement to this tier 2 tower.
Is there any smoke on anyone? I don't see any smoke. Witch Doctor's got himself 2 infused raindrops. He just wants to make sure that he takes less the amount of magical damage. Here comes the Siphon out onto the Puck. There comes the Centaur stun. Is it going to be enough to bring down the Puck? He orbs away. There comes out the freezing field from the Crystal Maiden. She gets Yulesed up, but they do bring down Alvin in the background. And now the Exorcism does come out. The Panda has split. Whelp in a little bit of trouble here. He's invis. He does go down. And Lifestealer in a Dragon. They lose lead on the Weaver. Panda, he's back alive. He's going to get siphoned out, slowed down. There's the Nova. And Terabyte going to go nowhere. While Odu, just chilling in his Radiance Dragon form, is he's Overwatch. He's Overwatch for the moment.
That was an unbelievable moment. The Dragon just walking through there, the Radiance burn just coming up now. And look, it's not being targeted by towers. It is just.
And you don't even know if it's one of Chen's Ags creeps or if it is actually Lifestealer. Well, look, Dowie doesn't have Ags just yet, so they should know that it is the Lifestealer, but they can't do anything to him. I mean, do you rather try and right-click down a hero that's hurting you or the Black
one
Dragon?
That's standing in the back line, just burning you through. I don't know. It's a bit of a 50-50 for me, but I mean, WRG had. Indeed. He's got himself a level 1 Dagon with the Decryptify. That is a very cheeky and very effective play.
How far is he from Lincoln's? He's not even going Lincoln's. Okay.
He's not even. He's going Yules. He's got his Ether. He's got his Dagon. He's going for Yules.
No, the Weaver. I thought the Weaver was going to go Lincoln's.
No, is he not? No, he's not going Lincoln's. He's going Diffusal, which is understandable because you want to get rid of. You want to get a Crystal Maiden.
Oh, Wow, Odu just wrecks the life of Captain Beast. He's now hanging around here, still letting that Radiance burn away. Alvin, he wants to get involved here, does pop out his sprites, and they're going to back off. WRG happy in the position that they're at. 11 for 8, 18 minutes in. Let's take a quick look at the graphs while we have a little bit of a slowdown. Okay, wait, where's the buttons, Jabba? There we go. Alright, so WRG sitting with around about 12k net worth lead advantage in terms of experience, sitting at around about 5k. So things looking really good for WRG, and the Villianz starting to feel that pinch.
I mean, all of a sudden, that kill advantage has swing to the favor of WRG. And I mean, it's just, I have to unfortunately say that there was a bit of a cheeky plays from the side of Villianz, and they did cost them their heroes' lives. And I mean, WRG would obviously take any opportunity they can get and advance off of that. So they did unfortunately overstep the boundary a bit. Well,
oh wow. Like, we missed it in the top lane. I knew it was going to be a quick death, but he couldn't even Sakuchi quick enough to actually avoid that, or even time lapse.
He Sakuchi'd, and by the time, just that split second it took for him to become invisible was not fast enough. That's how fast he put out 1,000 damage in a matter of a second, in just under a second. That is unbelievable. That is
scary. That is scary. Is he gonna continue to level up his Dagons, do you think?
I do actually. He might just. Korea is flying out. He does actually have a level 2 Dagon right now.
So there we go. There we go. And Aegis is going to be given to Alp. All hail, ladies and gentlemen, says the Chen. Right, looks like WRG trying to converge around at the mid lane here. Tier 2 tower is down. All Tier 2 towers are down for the side of Villianz. And WRG are starting to tighten that noose. Villianz, they need to respond somehow, somewhere. Pray to the Dota gods and find the crack or the chink in WRG's armor. Demonic Lord blinks back into base, almost getting caught on the side there. Now it is going to become that siege, that long siege that they need to try and break into Villianz. This TP from Captain Beast to the front tower. Wow, Alvin just goes down while finding the gap. That shouldn't have happened.
It's just there's so much damage coming out from Whelp right now. He's leading the CS chart, and he's leading the damage chart by just a crazy amount. He's winning.
Oh, here we go. Lifestealer raged up, trying to find the gap. The silence comes down. There's the freezing field, and WRG forced themselves into the base, and the Panda almost going down. Huge amount of damage coming out from Whelp. That huge nuker coming out. There's just nothing that Villianz can do. All three players here from Villianz actually congregating around the round 1 point. The Lifestealer trying to go into the witch. Leet gets the right click off, taking a little bit of damage here with the Radiance, and Panda in the backlines gets brought down by the Crystal Maiden, Death Prophet, and Chadawi. This is
a picture-perfect moment of how to siege high ground. I mean, you have Whelp that just slamming away near the blast tower, just being eaten up, and then you commit one hero, and then all of a sudden you get Transcendent hopping in with his rage. And
oh wait, we've still got Exorcism online. They're pushing tier 3s in the top lane now. So the onslaught has not stopped. Alvain down for 20 seconds. Panda just coming back to life. Now Punk blicks in, gets the coil, kills the Crystal Maiden from that coil, but now cast away. Exorcism still doing its work. Whelp takes down the Witch Doctor really quickly now. We got Leet 1137 in the backlines trying to get away, and Lifestealer trying to go to work here, trying to take down those individual pandas. And Castaway coming back in, throws out the Crypt Sworn, Maledict out onto the Lifestealer, and the time lapse from the Weaver trying to keep him alive. The Lifestealer trying to tank up the Death Ward, not going to be good enough, and he bites the deck. And answer has been, or my question has been answered. Rage does go through Untouchable, as Alvain was taking a huge amount of right-click damage from Odu, but there's the Rage. They do lose Enchanters in the backlines from Whelp, and now they haven't stopped. The Lifestealer once more, right-clicking away. Terabyte, he's now going to get himself out of there, but Whelp says, not today, my friend. Dagon done. GG has been called, and Villianz tap out as WRG take game 1 of this best of 3 in this VS Gaming Masters League.
That was an incredible show of skill. I mean, players going for just uncommon builds and really playing. They knew their timing, they knew when they were going to be effective, and they took a very convincing, or considering their kills that they'd given to the side of Villianz, they still managed to keep an advantage in terms of gold. I mean, 23 minutes in, 25,000 gold advantage. They definitely had a very good laning phase, and it just transferred into the mid game. I mean, 23 minutes in, it's still early game, but they just showed such strong pushing power, and just the amount of damage. Honestly, I need to say it. The amount of damage that Paganon just put in that game was.
Well, what was it? We can actually look at the scoreboards. Damage coming up from Walp and the lifesteal. Lifesteal actually did more damage, but the nuke damage coming out from Walp and the building damage was just astronomical.
It is an unbelievable amount, and it really goes to show how well versed these guys are in their craft. Like I said, they know what they need to do. It's so much damage, dude.
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
I mean, all right. Well, I know what we can say is game 1 done, dusted. Myself, Jabba, Tyrox, we're going to join you for game number 2, so don't go anywhere. Besides going to the fridge, grabbing yourself a drink, and then coming back and joining us. But do come back and enjoy some more WRG versus Villianz action. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and Dota players around the world. We are back. Game number 2, WRG versus VZ. The VS Gaming Masters League Leg 1. We are already game 1 down and dusted. WRG took the win with about under 25 minutes. Big mention, Odu on the lifestealer getting Radiance in, sub 15 minutes. An absolute perler. We are here bringing you game number 2. I am Jabba, joined by Tyrox. Give us a breakdown where things fell apart for the side of Villianz.
Well, it is very, very easily explainable. Welp had just an absolutely amazing game playing as the Pagana, and as we said, it was transcendent on that lifestealer. There was just too much damage on the towers, on the heroes. We saw a Weaver. We saw Weaver get burst down from full HP to back to respawn in a matter of a second. There was just so much damage coming out from Welp. He overall damage beat Transcended on the lifestealer. Who also, like we said, had the Radiance par 15 minutes. So it's really, really good to see. They had a very balanced, balanced laning phase, and then Villains had a little bit of a kill advantage, but WRG just very quickly pulled it back to their favor, and they just took they took game 1 in a very, very convincing fashion.
Well, that game is now part of the history books. We're going to move into game number 2, and already some really interesting picks. Let's go through it really quickly in terms of the bans. Treant, Lifestealer, and Panda has been taken out. You can't select them if you wanted to. Sorry, Villains, it's not there for you. And WRG can't get their hands on the Tiny, the Lycan, or the Enchantress. Witch Doctor has been taken out for WRG. Villains not going to have their chance to pick up the Witch Doctor. But I believe there's been a little bit of a sub out. Captain Beast, who played the Witch Doctor in the previous game, has been subbed in for Sadie on the side of Villains. So it's going to be a little bit different. Let's jump onto the quicks real quick so we can actually start determining what's going to happen here. For WRG, they got the Coddle, the old man. He's actually quite a frisky old man. Have you ever heard him in lane talk? He's almost like a predator.
I've never actually played Keeper of the Light, to be a very sad, honest answer. I've never actually played Keeper of the Light. It's not a role that I'm very comfortable with, but I do know that Keeper of the Light is not a pushover hero. He provides so much pushing power for the lane, and early game is he's almost his prime time, if you understand.
Well, he has got a lot of lane control, and he can control the equilibrium of the lane pretty well. But let's continue. We've got Beastmaster up for WRG, and then on the other side, Villains. They now get their hands on the Chen. So now Chadawi, he can't have the Chen anymore. And now it belongs to Villains. The Nugget Siren now I'd like to spend a bit of time here because, Nugget's had her time in the sun, in the limelight, and in the shade. And of late, she used to be, or in the earlier days, she was used to play as a core, something that you just want to run at people and just right-click them down. Now, of late, she's been being played as a support. She picks up her net, picks up the Meteor Hammer, and if she's able to get a bit of good farm, she picks up the Ags and then starts healing their team. Something that we're starting to see this Nugget change roles over the years of Dota.
Well, we can say that it is a trend-based game. So Naga Siren being Naga Siren, essentially, she has the disengage of the team fight to set up for the re-engage for Villains in this case, where she can stop a team fight. If it seems to be going south, she can initiate into a team fight. She can catch Rashawn on the last shred of health he has. There's so much that Naga Siren provides, but the meta has changed. The meta has unfortunately not allowed for Naga Siren to have these late games where she's as effective.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into the other picks. I got Dark Willow up for WRG. She's now in the captain's draft. Warlock dropping the staff. I think this is going to be a mid Warlock. I'm just putting it out there. Very possibly a mid Warlock. But Villains pick up the Gyrocopter. That's going to be their safe laner for the side of Villains. And the Nyx Assassin. Now, Nyx Assassin with Carapace against the Keeper of the Light is an absolute pain to deal with. For those of you that don't know, while he's been deaded and he pops his Carapace, Keeper of the Light will get stunned out when he throws out his Illuminate. So it's going to be a real bit of a task for the Keeper to actually deal with. But Villianz, it seems like they've got a somewhat decent kind of draft this time around.
I do like the draft. I do think that it would most probably be Beastmaster mid. It's also something that that's very old meta, but it still is it's very effective because you can use the Hawk as a secondary, as a moving ward, for example. Just put it down somewhere where you suspect enemy to be coming from. You can very easily spot out what's happening, and there is Villianz mid hero, a sniper. Wow, that is something that we don't often see. Sniper, not a bad hero. It just falls under the extremely low HP category. If you can catch up to Sniper, you can end him. If you can't catch up to Sniper, then unfortunately he will stand in the back line with Naga Siren. Actually, this is a very good setup, looking at it in a different light.
So now, what kind of core do you look at WRG actually looking towards? I mean, what are those gap closes for your position one? What are the big gap closes? Maybe a PL can jump on the sniper, doesn't deal with illusions too well. Maybe a Slark with Invis. I don't know. I'm reaching here. What could WRG look towards?
I really like the Slark. I mean, as you mentioned, unfortunately PL is banned out from this, but it does only take shrapnel and one or two bounces from a Mjolnir to take care of illusions. So it really is difficult, and there's so much more creep clearing from the side of Villianz. You've got Gyrocopter's massive big pull down. You've got Nyx Assassin, you've got the nets. You've got Chen, who's also going to have... That is your catch-up hero.
Oh, well, there we go. There's the gap closer, baby.
There's your gap closer.
There it is. Oh, this is... oh, you know what? Okay, no, hang on. Hang on. Just hang on 1 second. Dark Willow is being played by Castaway. Is this a mid-Dark Willow?
Mid-Dark Willow, off-lane Beastmaster, safe lane Phantom Assassin. Yeah, that is it.
Alright, well, this is going to get super interesting. Let's take a look at the side of Villianz. Their mid is going to be the Sniper, Demonic Lord, Elite 1137 is going to be playing the Gyro, Terabyte is going to be the offlaner, and it is going to be Sadie going to be playing a support Nagasiren, backed up by Alvin in position 4. So it's going to be a very poor Nagasiren, but I suppose the only thing that they really need her for is that net. Let's talk about synergy here for the side of Villianz. You've got a rocket into net, into stun from the Nyx Assassin. It's going to be quite tough for them to actually deal with.
I mean, there is quite a bit of consecutive lockdown that you can just see off the bat from the side of Villianz, but I do think that there's a lot of burst damage. I'm saying that very lightly. I'm saying it very, very lightly. There's a little bit more burst damage coming out, but you do have the one thing that is just a big turner for the side against. I mean, Gyrocopters almost never going to want to go for a BKB eventually. Beastmaster has Primal Roar. Straight off the bat, that is in a beautiful way to initiate. It's a beautiful way to lock one enemy down for a decent amount of time. 4 seconds when it pierces the spell immunity. I mean, there's very few things that can save you from such a doomed fate.
Yeah, and well, look, things have changed around. It's going to be the same teams on either side. We've got Villianz going to be playing on the Tire, and we've got WRG playing on the Radiant. In true fashion, the game has started out with the pause, so it will give us a chance to maybe, go through it. I mean, WRG, they've got some big hard hitters here. I'm really interested to see how the Dark Willow mid actually fares up.
I've yet to honestly see Dark Willow in the competitive scene. I mean, we've all seen her in pub games. We've all seen what she can do with her Terrorize and her Bedlam. So it's not a necessarily extremely new hero. It is one that was brought in with 7.0. So it's still a new hero. There is still some meta that can be, I could say, built around her. But as far as competitive South African Dark Willows, honestly, this is going to be the first for me.
Oh, I'm really interested to see how it pans out. I'm sure everyone that's watching and listening is going to be looking to see how it is played. So we'll keep our attentions on a mid Dark Willow and see if it actually pans out for WRG. So for those of you that are just joining us, welcome to game number 2. WRG has taken game 1 from Villianz. This could be the last game of the evening if WRG do take a big win from this game. It's first leg. Things are really interesting in the VS Gaming League at the moment. I mentioned it in the game 1 on how many different teams there are and how exciting it is that there are some new teams, new faces, and how it's actually going to pan out, or how the whole league is going to pan out. It's I'm super keen to see and see how it turns out. Only if I could tell you the future and make some money off it.
Yeah, that's what we all want. We all could, if we could all predict, we'd all be millionaires. And I just like the full damage coming out from WRG's lineup. I have to say, I like the idea that Villianz have. I mean, they've got a decent amount of huge damage put out. They do also have the Song of the Siren. The Ensnare is good because it does PS spell immunity, but it is mostly for the Song of the Siren, because you can not only stop the enemies in their tracks, but you can stop everyone in a huge AoE and slow them down and reset up the team fight if it goes bad. So they do have a plan B for their team fights. I just really hope that it doesn't turn into a negative, because you can screw your team over. We've seen it where Naga Siren throws down Song of the Siren at the wrong time, where cooldown probably would come out, or you'd have the shrapnel being called. There's just unfortunately so much that can go wrong at this point with the Song of the Siren, but it does not.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about we're talking about a top tier team here that kind of things shouldn't happen. I mean, the best of the best do make errors, but we're expecting. I mean, these guys, this team is probably, if not the best in SA at the moment. So we won't expect that to actually happen. But if it does, we'll keep you appraised. But I mean, if the song does come off, what could really be lost? Maybe an Illuminate, a mistimed Illuminate. Maybe the fear coming out from Dark Willow. Other than that, the setups are going to be pretty good for WRG.
I mean, there is quite a few setups, but actually, as we're talking about that switch, getting a little bit of harassment to Terabyte. I honestly thought there might be a little bit more. They're going for another.
Oh, Dowie in a little bit of trouble. Yeah, there's the ensnare. Has got the rocket barrage. Is it going to be enough? And 1137 Leet is drawn first blood once again.
Wow, huge damage. Huge damage. 1337. And it's the early rockets. Extremely powerful, as we just saw in the level 1 rockets. He's so strong in the early game, but just get couple 10 minutes and it's a different story. And Dark Willow, I like how these lanes have panned out. I mean, we were right in our late call on the mid Dark Willow, by the way, Jabba, and Transcended actually playing the off lane and not the safe lane. And no, I did call it. What am I?
No. Yes. I think Walp is in the safe lane. Odu going to be playing in the off lane. So they're switching up their roles. They're keeping Villianz on the top of their toes. And I suppose this team is so versatile that they can pretty much just do what they want. I mean, the map is really theirs.
Ooh, 1337 getting a nice amount of damage off of Transcended. Who might be overstaying his welcome. It did have a first point net. So, has actually skilled a bit. Look at how much damage Transcended does with one of those hits. That's crazy.
Well, the trees were a problem for WRG, so they just called out the tree felling company. And said, listen, Beastmaster, we don't like those trees like in that vicinity. Please destroy them. And he did. Now they can't juke between the trees. They got no more cover. Whether that turns out in their favor or not, we will wait and see. And so far,
I mean, there's a nice little ward that's chilling right there. So they just cleared up a whole bunch of space. Like I said, Sadie, not going to be hiding. He's not joking, not juking anyone. They can seem as clear as daylight in 1337. Also, there's quite a lot of harassment on the top lane, if I have to say. In this tri lane, they actually pulled the tri lane top, and it's a solo lane bottom.
Well, they actually, you know what the trees have done? They've actually prevented that sneak up of the Chen. I mean, you get such good vision coming out. Besides the fact when Chidao is in ulti form, how much vision it's going to give. There's the ensnare out onto the Beastmaster. Rocket out onto Dawi. They're going to chase him down. 1137 does get close. Throws out the minus armor. And 1137 gets the rocket barrage, but it goes in favor of Alvin. They turn around. They could get themselves a double kill here. Odin in a little bit of trouble, chasing him down. Pops the fairy fire. And Sadie, he wants to go for this. He's going deep, and he decides to pull out. The captain said, slow down, Boyki, slow down. And Tier 1 Tower was good enough to chase him back.
Well, Sadie just extending a little bit there. Doesn't pay with too much of his HP, but doesn't have a lot of regen. So 1337, he actually has a magic wand. He just popped himself now, so he's not doing too bad at all. Transcendent is going to be so helpful. You can just, those wild axes could just be spammed out all the time. And
Alvin though, tanking a lot of the creeps here, throws down the snare, but it's not good enough. He does go down, but now Dawi pops out the wand. Is it going to be enough to keep him alive? Leech trying to find the kill. He does, but Odu may be able to pick up the return here. Doesn't have enough mana for whirling axis. He's going to chase him down. He wants it, but then snare from Sadie comes in, keeps him under the tower. Odu in a huge amount of trouble now. One more tower, right click, and boom, done. Shared between the Naga and 1337. And I suppose the gold at the end of the rainbow was just too bright.
I think there was a little bit of a greedy play, and it just unfortunately paid with life. He lost it, and WRG, I mean, WRG, sitting in the safe lane, comfortably having that last hit all to himself. Mid lane, we've got Dark Willow just also not having any issues, albeit the HP difference is.
Oh, Castaway. Oh, he doesn't have another. Does he have another shrapnel? No, he doesn't. Castaway taking a little bit of pressure. One thing nice about Dark Willow is she goes into that invulnerable mode where you can't actually take any right click damage, which is going to be an absolute pain for a sniper to actually deal with.
It is actually very true. It becomes untargetable, so it would be hard. So
yes, okay. Invulnerable mode, you're correct. Untargetable. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think she can still take damage. Honestly, I'm not too sure if snipers ulti, because it does pierce spell immunity, and technically she doesn't become spell immune, she becomes untargetable. So honestly, I want to see if this is going to work. It's like I said, first time seeing a Dark Willow playing competitive, so I want to see if it's actually a viable counter towards a mid sniper. But it is all only time will tell, because you can't. No, it's a very interesting mechanic that they put in the untargetable. But back to the safe lane. I mean, Whelp sitting there with the Blightstone is actually just under 1,000 in her pocket, not doing too bad at all. Top lane is where the action is at. I mean, Sadie catching in, getting involved. Alvin does have Orb of Venom and a pair of boots, not much more for him. Gyrocopter does have himself phase boots.
Well, mid lane, wow. Castaway decides to bring the pain, takes down Demonic Lord is the sniper, and yeah, easy mid lane for Castaway as the Dark Willow, so it proves to be good. Top lane though, the split does come out from Sadie, trying to get the minus armor. Instead was used on Transcendent. They're trying to chase him down. While that's all happening, Old Man Marble in the sidelines, Leech trying to find him out as the jukes are happening. And Chitawi jukes 1337 completely. The Naga, she's getting away on real HP. Yeah, brings in the courier's coming in for one of the players. Alvin picking up the wards and smoke. And at the end of the day, Transcendent, the Beastmaster, doesn't go down. Cottle in the back lines, juking his sweetheart out. I mean, have you even thought of the amount of harass happening in this the safe or this top lane? Every time whirling axes come out, you got the Illuminate, and then the Chakra is just going to keep Odu constantly whirling.
Like I said, this wild axes are free for him at this point in time. He doesn't have to worry too much about mana. Mana cost for him is very little right now because he does have Tawi, just Chakra just the entire time. It is, however, an HP problem.
Oh, but it could be the death of Transcendent now. It is going to be good enough, and 1337 does pick up the kill. They finally brought down the Beastmaster, but now Dawi needs to get out of there. He's going to make it out. What, the ensnares there? Is there going to be enough? There comes the minus armor out from Sadie. The Riptide. I keep calling it the minus armor. It's actually called Riptide.
Riptide minus armor. It's almost one and the same.
Oh, but now Castaway, he's going to make a play here on the Demonic Lord. But look at the amount of damage coming out from the realm. And easy kill coming out for Castaway in the mid lane. In the meanwhile, in the top lane, they do lose the Beastmaster once again. And the synergy from Villianz is actually working out really well. Rocket into Stomp into Ensnare is really putting on a lot of pressure. Looking in the bot lane though, we could lose Terabyte. Pops out the wand. Oh, Carapace pulled back that last hit before he got stunned out. Terabyte making his way to the shrine, trying to see if he can shrine up and get himself back into lane.
It would be 100% damage reflection. So a crit, I think they would have hurt well quite a lot. And I'm just looking at the pure amount of damage that Demonic Lord has to fight, and he's just in those infused raindrops don't last very long.
Well, Demonic Lord's been put under pressure. Darts his way through the maze and doesn't get caught out. And Sniper lives once again. I'm sure once he got rooted out, Castaway would have made easy work of him.
He has to be very careful of where he walks, because the next move could be his last. And Dark Willow really effective against Sniper as proven, but the top lane again, Dowie in the squad.
This is a ridiculous amount of synergy from the side of Villianz. This is every time Rocket's up and Barrage is available, there's someone that's going to die on the side of WRG.
And I mean, this is not enough for Transcendence just to reduce the pressure on this top lane. That's going to need to be a bit of a stronger rotation to counter this tri lane. This is too much right now.
Alright, well the Rocket did connect. It was pretty deep. They're going to lose these two neutrals here from Alvin. Put a little bit of chip damage onto their tier 1. It's going to be good enough, and Villianz, they can actually start moving themselves back. Sadie, starting here on the sidelines. They do have this nice high ground ward here, giving them some decent vision. Bot lane, Whelp, he's sitting top of the charts with 64 last hits. Let's take a look excuse me, at the net worth at the moment. 4.3k gold for the PA, then followed by 1337 on the gyro. So far, both cores are pretty equal. Now, Fatal Bonds misses the stun. This could be deadly. Switch does get maned out, and it's going to be good enough for Whelp to bring down the Nyx. So Terabyte, he got hacked, and he's no more a Terabyte, but now just a Kilobyte. I liked what I did there.
He got sliced into a couple of megabytes, but well, I think I won that. Yeah,
that's fair enough.
While putting a huge amount of damage out. I mean, the coup de grace is what Phantom Assassin is known for, and I do think that if Terabyte does take it in with the heap assault, he can if he gets a spike carapace off at the right time, essentially Whelp will kill himself. But it is just the timing, and oh wow, mega kill. 1337 is having a joyous time on the top lane. This is not enough damage and not enough survivability from the Beastmaster as well as the Keeper. There's too much damage coming out. 1337 is.
Look, I know there was I actually missed that kill in the top lane because I was actually watching mid lane, because Sadie was trying to go toe to toe against the Dark Willow. And there was a little bit of fun and games happening in the mid lane, so I was just stuck there. And top lane, top tower, tier 1 tower, goes in favor of Villianz. They brought it down. Transcendent gets the roar off, and Alvin bites the dust rather quickly. Beautiful illuminate into Willing Axes, and 1327 can't even decide to contest.
But in the bottom lane, Sadie's here.
Sadie's here, but so is Whelp. There's the ensnare. The negative healing coming out from the Warlock, and it's going to be good enough to go down as Switch does pick up the kill. Terabyte has gone into Vendetta mode, but Alvin comes in, the blink, dagger, going to be good. Well, right clicking, here comes the TP in from 1337. The Bramble Base is down, has caught out good old Terabyte, but there's the call down, there's the rock, and the Bramble Base has now caught out 1337, and they get the trade kill off on Switch, but Whelp destroys down Alvin on the chin. They're going to try and continue forcing 1337 out of the fight. The Rocket does come in. Sadie having to fight the Warlock, the Dark Willow, as well as the Golem. But Castaway just absolutely melts the Gyro, and eventually the Bramble Base comes down while picking up the final kill onto Sadie. All that happening, and our sniper sitting in the mid lane, rather content and happy, sitting with just the Aquila, boots, and infused raindrops. Are you with me? Maybe
yeah,
some
sorry.
technical difficulties. No, it's fine. No, I want to talk, but now it's my turn. But I know you probably missed it, but I'm going to go back to the top lane where absolute destruction took place. Castaway on the Dark Willow, sitting over here. The Gyro sitting over here, just does that like big crit hit, and 1-3-3-7. It does go down rather quickly, thinking that he was actually going to make it out. Eventually didn't, and he did go down. The sniper very low on farm, only sitting 3.1 versus Castaway with almost 6 gold. The Bramble Base does come down. Half HP left for the sniper, completely underleveled, completely underfarmed, and this Dark Willow in the mid lane serves to be a winning combination. In the meantime, top lane, Transcendent does go down with the combination of the Gyro and the Nyx.
I mean, I wasn't. You didn't lose me. I was just, unfortunately, my mic decided to mute itself, and I mean that was a very nice fight. But Willow might be in a bit of trouble. No, Shadow Realm, its way is the way to go. There's just so much. It's such a, like I said, interesting mechanic. But Dowie is on court in the wrong spot.
Oh, the ult comes out. Not going to be good enough. And Bramble Maze catches 2. Castaway destroys down the chain. The Primal Roar comes out onto Terabyte, and the stun from Castaway is going to be good. One more right click. It's going to be good enough for the Beastmaster to actually collect that, take it in, and cash in his chips.
I mean, this is quick turnaround from the side of WRG. It almost feels like, I don't know, it almost feels like Villianz have stopped putting that pressure on, and now they've lost 2 heroes. Now all of, wow, okay, it does dodge the sniper ulti, so the Demonic Lord is
we're watching the rocket pot now. We're watching the bottom rock. Alvin denies the bounty.
That is cheeky. Well, actually, I don't really think he worries too much. He's already got himself Battle Fury.
Switch.
Got a Blackstone up.
Switch decides to just minus armor him, drop the rock, trying to go onto the sniper by himself. I mean, does this boy have guts and glory? The Gyro does get mazed out, rooted out, but there comes the song, just trying to keep the side of WRG at bay. No, they just actually want to try and focus on Castaway. He pops out the fear. It's going to be good enough to keep himself alive. The Illuminate actually missing, not catching anyone, but the Blinding Light is there, forces him back. Terabyte in a lot of trouble. They do destroy down Alvin on the chin in the backlines. The call down being used, lead coming in from the backlines, but the big crits from Whelp is just going to be too good. He's going to get actually stunned up from the Carapace with the Battle Fury, and it's going to be a double kill for Castaway. It's going to be a mega kill for Whelp, and all started because Switch decided, well, I'm going to run in there and just solo ulti a sniper.
Well, really well done, I have to say, from Switch to show the kahunas. He really just bit the bullet and went for it, and it actually turned out to be a 5 kill for the side of WRG, and because the fight was so long, the Demonic Lord actually had time to respawn and get back into lane, and unfortunately almost getting a kill on 2PA, but not enough damage coming out. And like I said, Switch, he's got more bravery in himself than I think PA at this point in time does. But very nicely done. All of a sudden, like I said, this quick change of pace has just really brought up the game for the side of WRG. I mean, they had a slight advantage, I would say, 3 minutes ago, and now all of a sudden it's just exponentially becoming higher and higher, and the fight is becoming exponentially harder and harder for the side of Villianz.
So something I've noticed is Alvin, he's actually taking control of all these siege cannons. He's got 2 now. How many creeps can he actually control? Does it? I'm actually trying to read here.
3 is the max you can have.
Ooh,
on level 3. So and remember, 2 siege units on a tower it hurts quite a lot. So he might just be looking to do a bit of split pushing and sending it out when it's not needed. But huge sniper just getting melted again. I think we having a little bit of a change of pace as to what last game was, and Tier 2 towers being pressured now. Tier 1 tower still standing. There's only one Tier 1 tower down for WRG, and they pressuring Tier 2s already. One Tier 1 mid left because of just the amount of commitment they have, but there's no rotations back. And there we go. Now we're starting to see some TPs on the side of Villianz, but they actually
they actually cancelled it. Now during the break we were actually talking about timings, and WRG's timings are always superb. They drop down the bramble bush. Switch, he's heading up the front lines there, throws out the whirling axes. Terabyte got a lot of damage, but almost taken down by Dark Willow Castaway, almost bringing him down, gets sent back to base. Switch drops the rock, that's good enough. There comes the rocket out from 1337, going to take him down. The fear comes out from Dark Willow. It's going to miss and not do too much, as I think WRG decides to just back off for the moment. Warp is in the mid lane. They're going to try and take down this Tier 1. Tier 1 in the mid lane still stands. They've already destroyed the top Tier 2, so they're getting their way to all the objectives that they need to.
1337 corner in the bottom lane. No, they're not going to commit onto it, but a lot of huge amount of damage coming out. And again, a lot of damage. And is Sadie going to go hunting? Sadie might go hunting. No,
no, top lane.
Wow. He didn't even need to use Shadow Realm. All he did was put Bedlam on, and
I'm thinking all Castaway needs now is a blink, and he does actually have a blink. I was actually looking at the sniper. It was the sniper that actually had, let's just double check. No, who had a Shadow Blade? I'm sorry, I saw someone with a Shadow Blade. Anyway, nonetheless, it will come up, it will find itself. But now, the cooldown does come in. There comes out all here. 1137, going to get kept alive by the song. The Bramble Maze is down. And Sadie walks straight into it. Says, I don't care. I'm here to party. Whelp jumps in. Sadie going to go down here. Taking a huge amount of damage here from Fatal Bonds. Castaway wants to jump forward. Blinks onto Castaway. Whelp now fighting under the tower. Gets himself a double kill. And the Chen does bite the dust. The Beastmaster runs through the trees. Decides it's in my way. I'm just going to chop it down. They do lose the sniper again. Carapace is there. The Snuns are about to catch. And they do. Ultra kill coming out for Whelp. And one hero stands for Villianz at the moment that is going to have to do something at this onslaught that WRG is bringing to the party.
Well, we did talk about the Shadow Blade. The Shadow Blade is on Phantom Assassin. Whelp does have a Shadow Blade. He's going to get his Desolator soon. If I'm not mistaken, he's going to go for his Desolator. I mean, there's just so much damage coming out, and Transcend it again.
Like, I mean, I think that was just a solo kill onto the Gyro, almost bringing down Alvin as well. Transcendent, he's got his creeps in the background. The Necrobot's doing its a little bit of damage. The split comes out, but now Demonic Lord's going to work, takes him down. And Beastmaster just sticking around a little bit too long in the back lines. Next was looking for the PA, but I think he thought better of it. I mean, all he's got at the moment is Arcane Boots up against a pretty much Shadow Blade and Battle Fury PA on the Dark Willow.
Critting, yeah, let's put it that way. She's getting some very nice crits off, and might just be as a finisher, but here comes a Desolator on its way. This is just going to really just increase the amount of just raw damage that Whelp does, and it really will also help because of the minus armor. I mean, it's not a Riptide. I mean, Riptide does damage as well, 240 to be precise. But just, wow, look at Whelp just actually taking the stack.
It's actually very pretty to watch.
That is a very nice feeling, because we don't often, to be honest, enough see a Battle Fury Phantom Assassin. Normally they just go for the single target damage, but the Battle Fury Phantom Assassin is very strong, and it is effective, because I mean it was meta at a stage. Now
look at this vision.
Nice to see a throwback. I mean, yeah, vision speaks for itself. Eh?
Alright, now I pressed the wrong button again, and I lost my keys. Anyway, what has happened is the vision for the side of WRG is massive because of the Ags now up on the Coddle. Just so much vision, it's just going to give them such an advantage. Dark Willow is going to be able to land those beauties. Switch, not going to have to run into the middle of battle to actually see where the enemies are, and doesn't have to hold onto it too much, or can hold onto it to make a better decision, and it's going to put them in such a better position. And now what? Permanently recall, permanent blinding light.
Yep, it is. unobstructed. It's really unobstructed vision is really nice because he can just sit and he can just farm creeps. And I mean, look, you see, Dowie just really has his meta down, and he knows where to put the illuminate down. He knows the timing of it, and like I said, these guys are vetted. They're professionals for a reason.
Wow.
I say that as Alvin gets melted. And while that's happening, while Solo takes Rashawn, he does have the Desolator, he also has the Battle Fury and the Shadow Blade ready to go. He's about as ready as fight as he wants to be, and well, a Discord and Kaya up on the Dark Willow, so that's understandably explained.
What do you think they're waiting for? I mean, because I feel they're at go time. They're at go moment. 22k in the lead. Net worths above the 10k mark. What is WRG waiting for?
I think it would be a bit of like a repeat of last game where they just pressured the towers, because now they have got Coddle, who does have the spirit form, and he's permanent now. So he's permanently in spirit form. He can put the pressure on. I do think they need to just catch off someone, and as I say that, massive drop down.
Well, the rock has been dropped. The song comes out. There's the rocket. The Naga has slowed things down with the Song of the Siren. There's the call down. They switch off the song, but now in the backlines, Whelp jumps in. They destroy Alvin, and now they get the kill onto 1337. Still got Aegis available for Whelp. The barback does come out from the Nyx. Bramble Maze is down, trying to work on Sadie. The Whelp jumps in, and he goes down super quickly, but Chadawi gets the kill. The barback from the Nyx, and he's dead. The GGs have been called out. And ladies and gents, this is why WRG are going to China to represent SA and perform esports to the next level. So for those of you that are going to love and leave us really quick, I'm Jabba and Tyrox, but if you wish to stay a little bit longer, we're going to go through a little bit of the post game and where kind of things went wrong for Villianz. But otherwise, for now, good night and God bless for all of you watching in game. For those of you on stream, you get the added benefit. You get the extra value that we bring. Right, so for those of you that that decided to hang around on whatever we can enlighten you with, let's go through the scoreboards. The game did finish 2-0 in favor of WRG, and Villianz seemed like they could have almost, when I say almost, I mean they looked like they were in a decent position.
I mean, I have to say, in comparison to game one, the Villianz looked like they had a stronger fighting lineup this time around. They were taking fights, they were winning them, they had dominated the safe lane. But it's just, I can't tell you where it went wrong. Villianz just felt like they lost the emphasis and the push power that they wanted. The Demonic Lord just didn't stand a chance against mid. The Dark Village really did so much damage that Alvin was almost instantly killed. Terabyte fell under the same fate. Like I said, it was an HP problem that the side of Villianz, that they had an HP problem from the get-go. They couldn't really. I think there was too much. I honestly think that I relied too much on Terabyte's spike carapace to do the counter damage and possibly burst down in one on the side of WRG. But it just 1337 had a lot of damage come out, but it wasn't enough to secure the kills. And the amount of work that WRG did just in the early game where it was necessary was enough. I mean, you look at the net worth of Whelp, compare it to the net worth of 1337, that's 8,000 gold difference. And that alone speaks wonders, because the next place is 6,000, which for Demonic Lord. And if you look at Dark Willow, sitting at 11, almost 12,000 net worth. So net worth for me, just the amount of items that were core for the side of WRG, I think that's also heading back to the point on what is the winning strategy. Is WRG, like, I don't want to say it as a be-all and a be-all and end-all. WRG like these heroes that have item timings. So timing for a diffusal, the timing for a veiled discord, the timing for this and this. They just use it to such great effectiveness that it is such an uphill battle against WRG.
Well, you've wrapped up the game really nicely. Castaway, I'm just having a look at the overview. Castaway had an unbelievable performance on Dark Willow. Got himself, what, 2 stars on his performance. So he did really well, did a lot to shut down the sniper, and it was really a pivotal point that the sniper needed to actually get a bit of farm and to actually make a difference in the game. But nonetheless, that's going to be the wrap up of the game. So for those of you that joined in, thank you for joining us. This was WRG versus Villianz of the VS Masters Gaming League Leg 1. This game is done and dusted, and the league is fully underway. So hopefully we can bring you a couple of more games as the weeks progress. But so far, a point goes to WRG, the first point of their leg, and they're going to be super happy about that. But for now, we are going to love and leave you. From myself, Jabba, and Tyrox, we are sending you out lots of love and a lot of peace, and we hope to see you guys pretty soon.